So what is your background? You were saying is it more like rugby?
More as rugby was
Because
the
looking
thing.
at your Insta, it just looks like you've been like jacked since like childhood.
I was definitely a big kid
Yeah.
when it comes to stuff. In terms of rugby, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because we were fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just 6 foot.
Right, okay.
And all my mates are like 6'3".
Yeah.
There was like my four closest mates. One of them's like 6'5" and the other two are 6'3".
Oh, damn.
So I walk around with them and I'm like, this isn't fair.
Yeah.
Just height-wise. And they're not skinny either.
Yeah, they're big boys.
But I played rugby from when I was like 5 until like 19.
Yeah.
And then just wasn't good enough to get to do it professionally as a career. Went back to play local clubs, stopped enjoying it, and just stopped playing. But when I stopped playing to a high level of rugby, I went more into the gym. I'd found my love for the gym in rugby.
Yeah.
Started working out more, started enjoying that more, and I just decided that's what I want to do.
Yeah. Did you see you played for the Chiefs? Like when you were, is that like as a kid?
Like academy and stuff like that from when you're like 14, I'd say, up until I was around 18, 19, I had like a part contract thing with them. I wasn't playing to a high enough level, so you're associated with them, but they just send you to a different club.
Yeah. And
then you go and train with their certain teams sometimes, and then went from there, and then nothing really came of it. So it's just like, we'll keep an eye on you, but just go and play back for your bog standard team. And I just was playing there. I was like, I don't enjoy this anymore. It's kind of like, went back. I thought I was fine. I just came back to mum one day and she was like, why are you doing it? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, why are you playing? I was like, because it's what I do. She's like, but you're miserable every time you come back. I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, why am I doing it then?
So what made you lose it, the love?
Just because
if you know.
For example, like you said with this,
the
reason you're doing it is not because you want to make it something.
Yeah.
Cool if it does.
Yeah.
But you just thought you enjoy doing it. You enjoy sitting down, learning about different things. You don't play a game or do anything when you're a kid because you're like, this is going to be my career. Do it because you're like, okay, this is good fun. I actually love doing this. I look forward to doing it. And I got to the stage where I wasn't. And I think it became a chore rather than enjoyment and could be work. It just became work. I was like, I still want to enjoy playing. I was getting stressed about it and different things like that. The enjoyment just wasn't there. I think there's a lot of people who in sport will experience that. Definitely with a lot of things. If you're not enjoying it, or even out of other things, if you're not enjoying it, you might be still good at it. But what's the point?
Yeah. I remember you hear like a few sports people who do that, where they would come out and they'd be like, I don't even enjoy this. And you know, the average Joe like us, or maybe not you because you've had a similar experience, but I'll be like, what? Like you're fucking playing at like the top of any. You know, I think there's a footballer like back home who's like, he's this English guy and he's just like, he doesn't even really like football. He's just good at it.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, what? That's crazy. Whereas I guess it's like for some people they're just really good at it. And it ultimately is it.
It's not, especially when you get to a high level. It's not like when you're just going for a kickabout with mates or something like that. There is a lot more pressure and there's a lot more behind the scenes stuff. It's just like, this is a lot of work and a lot of stress and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the work is an issue, but it's just sometimes a lot of people get overwhelmed by it, and then that affects your performances. And you're like, okay, if I'm doing all of this and I'm barely scratching the surface of making it, I'm gonna have to put in a lot more effort and then a lot more stress and stuff, and just I won't be in a good place to be able to do it to that level.
Yeah, because you were saying in the gym, do you see you slip 2 discs?
That wasn't with rugby or anything. That was actually after I stopped playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So career-wise, rugby, I was fine injuries.
Sweet, yeah.
I think I broke like a few ribs at different times.
It's funny how in rugby that's just not like...
Oh, rugby-wise, I think that was the only serious... And tore a hamstring at some point. And then fingers and toes, but that don't count. My fingers are like...
Pointing different directions.
Yeah, some of them go off left and right, and it's each different joint is pointing a different direction. But in terms of a lot of people have like ACLs, MCL tears, stuff like that, and just... You're done.
Yeah, Ben, who he's similar to you. So he played rugby up until I think at a young age, so like quite a really good level. Dude, he's like fucking shoulders, collarbones, hip, like fingers, everything. And he's like, yeah, it's as it is. I broke my elbow when I was like, I can't even remember it. But do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, God, that was like traumatic. Whereas like in rugby, it just is like.
Especially when you're at that high level though, because they do look after you when you're a youngster.
Yeah.
But like, I was getting all the rehab, prehab, everything like that. They just give it to you.
Yeah.
With the proper coaches that they have. Like they have a academy coach, an academy physician and everything like that. Who's just dedicated to making you better. And you're like, okay, that's class.
Well, the reason I brought that up is because I bulged a disc. Like 4 years ago. You know, I don't know if this is what you did, but just classic like lifting too heavy, poor technique, squatting, and I got that like butt wink thing.
Yeah.
But like when I did it, literally it felt like my back, like my so mine was an L5 S1, so like kind of like where your bum is.
Yeah.
Like it literally just felt like it went like that and back. But at the time, I was actually I was training for an Ironman. I was like 8 weeks out.
Right.
So I say that because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna not do. I had spent a year plus training for this.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna do this. So I say that to say like all I did was I just like stopped. I was like, I just brought my training right down. But I just kept training and you know, I didn't go and get it checked out. So anyway, so I did that and then that was like 4 years ago. And then what would happen, like pretty much once a year, I would do something. And at this point in time, I didn't realise I'd bulged it. So I just kind of like bro science my way through it. I actually went away, did the race, whatever. But then what happened was like each year, so like the last like 4 years, like something would happen where like snowboarding, I would fall awkwardly and bang it. And it would like be like, it would cramp right up.
Yeah.
Couldn't move for like a week. But see, after like a week of not doing anything, go away, it was totally cool.
Yeah, because a bulge disc is the, I've gone completely blank on the word, but it's the swelling that goes around it. The inflammation, that's the word I'm looking for, that causes that pressure and the pain and everything like that. So if you're not doing anything, it'll go back down.
Yeah.
But as soon as you trigger it again, it's gone.
Yeah, so then I know exactly when it was. So January of last year, 2023, I started the Muay Thai gym in Canmore.
Yeah.
Dude, from day one, it was back. But it was kind of like not as severe. It was more like a slow, gradual build. Anyway, and this is really stupid to admit in hindsight, but dude, I kept going for it. I went from January last year till March of this year.
Yeah.
Until I got to the point where like I would literally in my bed, I couldn't sleep because the pain was so sore.
Yeah.
But you know when you're just like, I don't even know what I was thinking. I was like, I think I was thinking like, oh, like I'm just getting used to it, or like getting used to the new sport. Because obviously it's so physical, you're like, you know, grappling, like striking, whatever. And then anyway, so since I literally couldn't sleep, I like completely was like putting my hands up.
Yeah.
And you know, since then I've had like multiple x-rays, blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of on the road somewhat to recovery. But I was going to ask you, like when you slipped your discs, like.
So I did mine.
What did you do?
I wasn't playing rugby anymore. I'd actually moved out from back home. It's not far, COVID and shit had all started.
Right, okay. Oh, so this is recent?
Yeah, it was 2019. You say recent, it's like 5 years ago, but COVID, or 4 years ago. Yeah, 2020 probably it was. Had moved out when I stopped playing rugby, or when I moved, I was loaned to a team in Cornwall. So I live in Devon. I was living down there and then working as a security guard at a campsite. Stopped playing rugby. COVID and stuff had all started as well. So I was just working there as a security guard and I was training in the gym and I started going for it properly. I was just doing a deadlift, being a young teenage boy, just basically throwing weight around. I knew enough about it, but you still just want to lift heavy weight. And I think we were trying to see in our group like who could lift the most. And I went for like something like 280 kilos on a deadlift when I was like 19, turned 19. I got it up, or came back down from it and just did that jerk thing. Yeah. Where you hit, as the bar hits the ground, I was like, okay, that doesn't feel nice, but yeah, it was 280 kilos. It's not going to feel that nice.
Yeah.
So carried on with whatever.
Working out?
No, the
Oh,
session
right,
was
just-
finished after
yeah,
that. I was like, okay, we'll rest up. Went back to lift the next day. I think I was trying to do legs. I tried to squat and I was like, this is not okay. I'm meant to be warming up at like 100 with 2 plates. I was like, I can barely do this. There's something really wrong.
Seriously.
So I was like, I'll just rest for a couple of weeks. I didn't have all the stuff I had in rugby back then.
Were you like, fuck, I wish I had...
Yeah, because if I had gone, anyone would have gone, yeah, it's this.
Did that, the fact you'd had that, did that, like...
Oh, it helped, for sure.
Because you were like, okay, I did this.
I was like, I know there's something wrong in this area, and I know it could be this, this, or this. So I just went to a chiropractor, and he was like, yeah, you slipped 2 discs. Enough, put no weight on your back, don't do any kind of thing for like, he said for like 4 months. I was like, cool. 2 weeks later, anyway, all the gyms were shut because of COVID.
Right.
So I couldn't do anything anyway.
Like forced rehab.
So I had like some weights lying around. I think I had a barbell with around 100 kilos, but I could barely deadlift it at all. So I started just doing loads of upper body stuff. Couldn't do anything. I could do split squat because then the weight was spread and it was going down my spinal column, but my spine was set. Rather on a normal squat where you're just doing that, it was all on my spine. So I just had to do specific exercises. And after 4 months, the pain was gone. I went back and it was like, yeah, it's done.
What were the exercises?
It was just more like, in terms of, I couldn't do some, so I'd do different ones. I didn't actually really have to do any rehab or prehab. It was just kind of let it, because if you're older, you have to do a lot to it. Because I was younger, the guy was just like, just let it heal.
Well, that was, so mine was, the only reason that I say it's bald is because when I had the x-rays, the doctor was like, between your L5 and your S1, it's slightly, the space is like slightly shortened. And they were like, because you've told us about this, they were like, that makes sense, that's what would happen. But they, like, honestly, like, the doctor with me, like, I went to 2, so I went to the doctor here, she got an x-ray in my back, and she was like, nothing, blood work and stuff to, like, so it wasn't anything major. And then she was like, nothing major, I don't really know what to do, I'll send you a back specialist. Went all the way to Calgary. He put me for x-rays on my hips and ultrasounds, and it was kind of the same thing. So it was like bittersweet, where he was like, there's nothing major, like I can't be like, you've got arthritis or you're like, something's drastically wrong. But then it was kind of like, I was in a bit of like no man's land, where I was like, right, well, I'm still in pain, like. And then I got this book, so this guy, Stuart McGill, he's a back specialist from Canada, and that book, it's actually a book right next to you, but he, not that book, but another book, like, it was kind of easier to read than that one, and honestly, it was kind of like what you were saying, and this is maybe where, like, I didn't have, like, the kind of sports background that you have, so I seen it in the sense, like, I read this book, and he was pointing out, like, super obvious stuff. He was like, if you bend like this, does it hurt? If you bend like that, does it hurt? And he was like, if it does, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, and then I was kind of like analyzing everything I was doing in the gym. So I was doing like cable crunches.
Yeah.
Obviously, like flexing my, is it flex? So I was like flexing my back.
Yeah.
Which every time would, like, not every time, but like sometimes
give you a little twinge.
Yeah, you know when you're like, it's not until you read it or someone tells you, you're like.
Why would I do? Yeah, why would I do that?
This? Yeah. But I think I was just like. So you just like effectively chilled for 4 months?
I could still do chest, arms.
Yeah, because I was going to say
all of that stuff. I could do certain leg movements and things. I didn't have access to any machines or anything though.
Yeah.
I was literally working out on the caravan site because the caravan site was shut.
Yeah.
I was living in a caravan, like stationary home basically, and would just go out to the tractor shed, pull the tractor out, put all my weights in there, and work out for a couple of hours and then do it again.
Why did you have to put the weights in there?
Because that's where I could store it all. But if it was raining or anything like that, and I'm living right on the coast, so it was in the winter as well, because it was like November through to, I think it was February and stuff. There was that period of isolation. So
One of many.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not working outside on the coast when it's like 0 degrees. I'm freezing. So I just do that every time. So
you pretty much just took the time off and you're healed? Because that's when you said that to me the other day. The reason I wanted to ask you about it is because I was like, you're obviously in such good shape, and I was like, and you're like
Yeah.
lifting heavy. So I was like, how has he slipped through this?
Definitely a benefit from being younger. Because I would have been just 19. I would have been 19 when I did it. And I didn't have to do anything extreme.
Yeah. Because I was like, I did mine like late. I probably did some 31 now, so I probably did mine like 26 or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, it's a blessing and a curse in the sense of like, since then, it totally changed my workout routine because I was maybe the same with you with your rugby because I love going to the gym. Obviously, you do as well. But then I was like, after that, I was like, because I did it for like the 100th time. I injured it for the 100th time.
Yeah.
And then when I was like continuing to work out in the gym, even like recently this year, I know I kind of blamed it on the Muay Thai, but I was doing it in the gym and I was like, why am I even doing this, man? And the Muay Thai as well. I was like, why am I even doing this? Like, I'm not actually enjoying it because I'm in such discomfort. Yeah. So then I was just like, I just stopped for like a month, just didn't do anything, and then I was trying to like, and I honestly had got to that point where I was like, maybe I have like truly fucked my back.
Yeah.
I know it's like a bit dramatic now because it's not, but I remember thinking that I was like, fucking hell, man, like. Because I don't know about you, but I was like, I don't know, like most, if I have free time, if I got free time or like, I feel shitty. Like I had a kind of shit sleep and I was like, right, just go to the gym, work out, you feel better.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't have the gym or anything like swimming.
Oh, definitely for me, man, definitely. That's why I went from rugby straight into gym because like, I've been training as a professional athlete would for years. Yeah. Suddenly go, oh, I don't do it. I don't do that anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep doing this kind of training.
So when you stopped the rugby, were you already doing like the weights and you just?
Oh yeah, we started when we were like.
Were you just jacked as you are, or were you just a big boy?
No, I was just rugby style big. Yeah. I wasn't as muscular as I am now. I was still like.
You're jacked. Just giving you an ego here.
A little boost. Yeah. I don't think I needed that. But yeah, I was still a big rugby player, but I wasn't. You train completely differently because I could still run. I was still more cardiovascularly fit than to be able to run for 80 minutes, and I could sprint a lot quicker than I now. Yeah. Whereas now I'm just muscle. Yeah. But cardio I'm still good on. I wouldn't be able to run as much as I could back then, especially now as I'm on the heavier. Yeah. I'm on the very heavier end of my scale in terms of weight wise.
So you were saying you're like 240?
Like 243-ish. Oh. Yeah.
Is that the heaviest you've ever been?
That's the heaviest I've ever been in my life.
So how do you? So what's your goal? Because we were obviously kind of chatting about it with like.
I want to compete professionally in bodybuilding. That's like end goal to have that as career. But I'm a PT and a physique and bodybuilding coach as well. Yeah. So I can coach people to go on stage.
Right, okay, because I was going to say, what's the difference between PT and
it's physique? different courses. PT course, like most people, I did it in a day.
Oh, damn.
It's a year-long course, but if you have the knowledge of it, you can just go on and go, I'll do the exam now. Oh, wow. They give you all the resources, but you're like, I'll do the exam. Yeah. And it's like a 120 multiple choice thing. And you answer all of them and you have to get, I think, something like 70% to pass. I think I got 98%.
Oh, damn.
Because I was like, I've come from that background of it where they don't just say, do this. They say, right, you're doing this for this, you're doing this for this. I'd learned a lot of it from training in the gym when I was like 13, I'd say, up until 19 with professional strength and conditioning coaches for rugby. You learn a lot doing that. And then in school I studied, did a BTEC sport, so I could, you'd know what a BTEC is.
I actually don't know, because it's different in Scotland.
Nah, so basically you have A levels. Yeah. And then BTEC is the same time, but BTEC was just a lot more coursework when I did it. I think they've got exams now, but it was just coursework. And basically, it's a lot easier. Right. And it was basically like, you do a BTEC if you were a rugby player at our school, so then you could just focus on playing rugby. Right, okay. But they do actually teach you a lot of physiological stuff in that. So I had the knowledge, so I just did the exam like that. And then the bodybuilding coaching course, a lot more science to it. A lot more in-depth kind of structure to it, and it was one that I sat down and read it and go, oh, okay, I do actually have to read this.
Yeah.
And that took me like, because I was working full time as well.
What did you do when you were here?
Yeah, I've just done it last year. I did this course, but I started it in April when I got back from traveling around a bit, and then finished it at the end of summer, so like mid-September. But
This
with
year?
but with how busy work was as well, it's just like do a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there. So it's just balancing everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot more like
hard,
sit
man.
down. I have to actually read this.
Yeah, and there was an exam at the end.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, but it was good.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
It's funny how like when you have something, dude. See, when I was at school, I was like total lazy. Like I just didn't really like.
Oh yeah.
Like I love school, and like it's classic. Like in hindsight, I love school. 'Cause you hung out with your friends all day, but like I wasn't really that bothered about exams. But it's funny, like as soon as you have something later in life that you actually wanted to do,
Yeah.
and you obviously want to put all that time and effort into it. Like,
Oh, you're gonna do it. Yeah.
yeah.
That's the thing. In school, you're told you're gonna do this a lot of the time.
So is that when you said there's a lot more science to it? Is like what would be
In depth of
like
how,
muscles and all the connections and stuff?
yeah, all the different hormones and neurological side of things.
Really? Yeah.
Or because
Is it like dieting and stuff? Because you're like preparing people for competition.
yeah, a lot of it is the dieting side of things, but the function of the body a lot more. But also how different chemicals can affect different things in your body. A lot of it is the drug side of things because
Steroids, yeah.
yeah, it's known that is what is in the sport
Yeah.
and the effects of and the dangers of all of them.
Yeah.
So then, but it's not just like if you take this, these are the side effects. It's like if you take this, it causes this chemical reaction in your body, which causes this to happen. It can affect this one. So yeah, a lot more.
And that's actually part of the course.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So then you'll get an exam at the end. You're like,
So
if
they're not
somebody's
like
having these issues, what could be the drug that they're taking? And you're like,
so they're not like shying away from like.
Yeah.
They're just like kind of somewhat accept.
Oh, they basically say everywhere, don't do it.
Yeah,
But they are smart enough to know that all professional, a high percentage of professional bodybuilders are all on something.
Yeah. What was it like in rugby? Was it a thing in rugby or was it
Not,
gel?
I didn't see any of it from where I was.
Oh, I guess it'd be tested.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're tested all the time in that. And there are some tested bodybuilding shows, but there's a lot that aren't.
Yeah.
Because they know it's not possible to do it.
And it's like for someone who wants to get into it, is that like something you obviously need to think about? Like that you might get to a point. I mean, I don't know too much about that world, but like I've seen people who like have now later in life came out and they're like, yeah, you get to. They were like, if you want, it's like the cycling.
If you want to be a professional, you have to do it.
Yeah. It's like that thing with Lance Armstrong where they were like, he got like was the scapegoat for. He was like made the scapegoat for the fact of all the drug cheating. But it was like in one of the races that he won, if you were to find the first person
who wasn't on
it, it was like number 18.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's especially in bodybuilding. If you want to be a professional and you want to get to the top, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Like they might not say it because they might live somewhere where it's illegal, or they might, but they are.
Yeah. Is it legal in the UK?
Everything's steroids are legal in the UK.
Are legal?
Yeah.
Oh, are they? Yeah. But you can't go in a shop and buy them, can you?
No, you can't buy them over the.
You still need to buy them off.
Yeah, it's a very weird underground situation where.
It's not legal to take it. No, it's not illegal to take it, but you can't buy it.
You can't buy it over the counter and stuff like that. You can go in and get certain things prescribed to you.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is underground. But I've never taken anything.
Yeah.
And I want to do a season natural to make sure I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I've got cut down as though I was going to compete, but I've never done a competition.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put a load of shit in my body, which will have there'll be a lot of good stuff and you do it sensibly, you won't have too many negative side effects.
Yeah.
But they could. You don't know how your body will react differently to mine to certain things. So I don't want to put all of that stuff in my body and then realise, oh, actually, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, and then you're like...
Yeah, why have I done that? Why have I put all that pressure on. So I
Yeah.
want to try, make sure it's something I actually want to do.
Yeah.
Then if I want to go pro, then like you say, it's something you have to think about.
So were you
decide whether to do it.
where you at in your like process of like competing or like getting to competing?
I want to compete. First time would be like August of 25.
Right, okay, cool. And what's your visa situation? Or would you be doing it in Canada?
I'd do it here.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
sweet, yeah.
So I'm coming. My visa expires in December,
Yeah.
but I've renewed it for another year,
Right,
so
cool,
I'll come back like mid-January,
Yeah.
and then
That's also good that you know
Go
what it's
into
going to
it.
be.
yeah.
'Cause then
So I
you're
can
not
keep an eye out. It will either be Vancouver or Calgary,
Yeah.
but they haven't actually released any dates yet, so it's hard to be like, okay, I'll start, because you work back from the date that you're going to compete. Essentially,
Yeah.
you're like, if I know I'm competing on this date in July, I'm going to go back 20, 25 weeks. That's when I'll start doing a prep and start slowly cutting down, essentially.
Yeah. And what, like, so you were saying about how like you did the rugby and then you stopped enjoying it. What is it that you enjoy so much about the bodybuilding?
I think it's definitely something that's helped me in terms of just feel good, as you
Yeah.
were saying. Like without it, it definitely helped me get through some difficult times and stuff like that. Just working out, and I just enjoy. It's not necessarily the actual bodybuilding side of it that I like, the competing thing. I've never done it, so I don't know whether I enjoy that.
Mad, mate, on stage.
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
Like,
but I went and watched shows,
yeah.
and I enjoyed that thing of it and seeing it. And I
Were they all like brown, like totally?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna have to dress up like Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, cover
Orange
the tattoos.
vibes. Yeah.
You don't really need to cover your tattoos now, do you? Because Chris Bumstead, he's got
like one on his arm.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing. Because I never thought I'd do this when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I didn't think when I've got this whole sleeve covered, it won't take away from it because of the tan and stuff. You can cover it up. But that's why I never got any of the front bicep done or anything like that for different poses. But it can hinder it a bit, but not really. When you get the tan and stuff, it's kind of covered.
Yeah.
And you can still, it's like how you view a muscle is a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
But you can still see it. But yeah, I think in terms of when I want to do it, it'll be August next year.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, the reason I was asking why you enjoy this is because obviously I go to the gym as well. I'm not doing bodybuilding, evidently. But I'm definitely one of these people where like and maybe this is a negative thing, but like how I look physically like bleeds into how I feel mentally.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm a lot
on the same boat as that.
Yeah, I'm cooler about it now. Like I'm older. Like if I go like a week or so without training, it doesn't kill me. Like I'll be like, I feel a bit like pent up, but I won't be like, oh my god, I won't go out. Whereas when I was younger, I used to be. I mean, I'm definitely still insecure, but when I was younger, I used to be like, if it was like a party on a Friday, dude, I would like not eat the whole day and like just do setups, like crazy stuff. So like I always say, because I do like a lot. I probably do more cardio, like swimming. Now.
Yes.
But I always say like, I still go to the gym because I just want to look good.
Yeah, that's the thing. You work out for loads of people work out for different reasons.
Yeah.
And my kind of looking good came as a secondary to feeling good.
Yeah. It's probably the best way to do it.
It helps me it's my therapy, if you like, is just being in the gym, and other people 100% will say the same thing.
And do you listen to music when you're training, yeah?
Yeah, but it's not anything crazy.
Yeah.
Like my music in the gym, you could come up to me sometimes and it would just be like hardcore heavy metal stuff, and other times you come up and you'll hear Taylor Swift singing out one of my ears. It's just so that I can go into my own little place.
Yeah.
And when I'm in there, I'm not thinking about anything else. It goes into caveman brain, essentially, where I'm like, all I have to do is lift this thing up and then put it back down again. Everything else that's out of the gym is out of the gym.
Yeah.
And I just go through doing it, and I enjoy the feeling of it, of knowing. And I've always had a bit of a all or nothing kind of mindset. Like when I played rugby, it very quickly was like, either I'm going to be a professional at this or I'm not going to play. And that kind of happened when I realised I was like, oh, I can't play professional, so we're not going to bother, kind of thing. Like, I didn't enjoy it not being at that top level. And I've always done this with a lot of things, like even just with general working. I'm like, I'm here, I'm working, I'm going to be doing this job whether I either put no effort in or all my effort in, I'm going to still be doing it. So I might as well make it as good as I can. I've always had that with everything I've ever done. So I think with the gym, I'm like, I enjoy this.
Yeah.
I could just do it every other day or just do this. I'm training here for this hour. I'm not going to go half-assed with it. I'm putting in everything I've got. And that everything I've got might be up here one day, but it might be down here this next day, but it's still everything that I'm capable of giving on that day.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the love of the gym kind of does show that.
I mean, definitely.
Through
Definitely
that.
see it.
That's what I mean. It's like, if you put that effort in,
Yeah.
you're going to get results.
Yeah.
As long as you are putting effort into everything else, aspects-wise. So you're putting effort into the diet, you're putting effort into the recovery.
How
you're going to see results.
Yeah, you're obviously like super disciplined with it. Are you just like a disciplined person, like normally, or is it because you've got the show, you're like, my head's in it?
I think that comes from a sporting background as well.
Yeah.
And just
It's almost like going through
upbringing with morals and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like with being on time and things, we were always taught, like, if you're meant to be there at 8, be there at 2:45.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. And discipline of, well, I know I'm looking to do this. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do it by doing this. Do I want that? Yeah, okay, then I've got to do that.
Yeah.
Even if it was this on its own, I'm like, why on earth would I do that? I'm like, oh, actually, it's because it's going to get me what I want. Don't get me wrong. There are sometimes where I'll wake up and be like, yeah, not today. Not today. And I'm like, but it is today. You just need to do it. You're going today. I'm like, okay. But once you've done it for a while, your brain's like, yeah, we're going to the gym. Why?
Yeah.
Because we go to the gym. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So we're going to the gym. Diet-wise, it's different in the sense I'm not thinking of competing until August. And I'm at peak bulk kind of situation at the minute, so I don't have to be as strict.
So what does that actually look like? Are you like still...
I still track my calories and what I eat most days. So I'm like eating like 6,000 a day. So it's a lot of food.
That's a lot of food.
So then occasionally if I'm like, I don't want to eat my rice and my beef and my veg, I'm going to have a couple of cookies.
Yeah.
Like,
just to get the calories up?
No, I'm just like, I can't eat that same meal again today.
Right, okay, yeah.
You know what? Not that I can't, I could. I'm not feeling it. I want something outside of the plan.
See, when you're eating that much, is it like, do you have an appetite for it? Or are there meals where you're like, this is going through the motions?
Most meals I'm not hungry.
That's amazing.
I just have to eat because I'm like, I have to eat.
Yeah. But it's obviously part of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one because it's definitely something that a lot of people ask about in terms of, how do you eat the same thing? Or how do you not eat this or not eat that? And I'd say 95% of the time, I'm like, I don't get cravings for anything else. I don't want anything. I don't see food as most people do. Food isn't an enjoyment aspect for me. It's just fuel. I'm like, I track my food now for 4 or 5 years. As soon as you do that for that length of time, and there was definitely times in that period where I get overly obsessive with it.
Yeah.
And that is something you definitely got to watch out for at the start, especially if you do a cut and you get down to low body fat and stuff like that. Food becomes a very scary, thing. And putting on weight becomes the worst thing ever. But then as soon as you look at it from an outside perspective, if you're looking at coaching someone else and they're like, I don't want to put on weight, and I'm like, well, you're not going to get any bigger then, are you? Yeah. I wouldn't be like that with someone else, but you say things to yourself you wouldn't say to anyone else. And you're like, oh, that's actually, yeah, you got a point. I've got to eat, I've got to put on weight, I've got to put on some fat in order to grow muscle. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy, you may know him, online called Jeff Nippard. He's like the science building guy. So he's got an app called
Macro something.
Macronutrient or something. So anyway, I was watching his video and it was like a free 2-week trial. So I was like, I'll try it. And I did that, and I was actually amazed with how little I was eating.
Yeah.
Like because I was tracking everything as you do, and his is amazing because it's like, I mean, amazing just in the sense of pretty much it pretty much had everything you scanned on it.
Yeah.
And I was like amazed with like how little I was eating. I was like, I think there was like some days I was like 1,800 calories.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Because I have a good appetite.
Yeah.
And I was like, so anyway, but I ended up doing it. I think I paid for it for like a month, and then I ended up. But the only reason, so my thought process was, and I might be similar to you to a degree, where like I eat the same thing pretty much every week.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think it was my girlfriend said to me, she was like, just do it for like a week. Because she was like, you eat the same thing every week. So if you do it for a week, you don't need to like obsessively do it forever.
So everyone does. They don't realise it. They're like, no, I eat so many different things. I'm like, well, write it down. Yeah. And I bet you'll get to the end of the week and be like, oh, okay, yeah, everything is literally the same.
So I did it, and then I was honestly so like shocked with how little my calorie intake was. So anyway, I ended up doing it for about 6 weeks, but then I remember like when I went to pay for the second month, it was like I had that moment where I was like, I didn't want to get into the paranoid, like, because we're on our phones 24/7 anyway. Yeah. So I was just like, I'd eat anything and be like on the phone. So it's like,
that's definitely how it feels at the start. But I now, because I eat the same thing every day, I don't have to put it in.
Yeah, you could just like,
because I know what amounts of. I know I'm having 2 bagels before I come to the gym in the morning.
Yeah.
I know when I come back I'm having 100.
Just plain bagels, or are you having
cinnamon raisin bagels? Like they've got to be. They're the top tier.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I'll go cinnamon and then blueberry occasionally.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes I will just raw dog a plain bagel.
Right. Okay.
Not even toast it.
Yeah.
Just
eat it.
That's how much I don't give a shit about food anymore. I'm like,
so do you wake up hungry though? Or
no.
What? That's mad. Yeah.
Because I don't. Because I'm eating every couple of hours from when I wake up to when I go to sleep. Like it's tricky with work because I'm driving a lot of the time at work. So sometimes I'm like, I've got to do, especially through the summer, I'm able to have breakfast before.
So walk me through the day again. So you were two bagels.
2 bagels, and then currently at the minute I'm having, ideal day this is. Let's say if we take work out of the equation.
Yeah.
The amount of food on what I'm eating is the same.
Yeah.
But ideally I'd train in the morning. So I'd get up, have the bagels, go straight to the gym, come back, have 150 grams Rice Krispies.
Yeah.
Just because it's just pure carbohydrates. There's nothing in it. With protein shake over the top with peanut butter in there.
Wait, Rice Krispies. Oh, Rice Krispies, yeah. Like so I was thinking rice cakes.
No, literally like the cereal.
Oh, wow, that's mad.
Yeah, sometimes would have oats.
That sounds amazing. So rice...
Yeah, sometimes I'd have oats, but with the volume that I was eating, I couldn't get down. I think I was up to like 200 grams of oats.
Yeah.
Of like porridge. I was like, I can't do it. And the Rice Krispies just had more carbs in there.
Yeah. So Rice Krispies protein shake. Protein shake.
Just protein shake turned out like poured over the top.
Yeah,
so I think it was 300 mils of milk.
That sounds nice.
20 grams of the protein in there, and then 30 grams of peanut butter. Blend it up, pour it over the Rice Krispies. Just go for it.
Yeah.
But when I say 150 grams of Rice Krispies, like 150 grams isn't enough.
I don't know. I can't equate that much.
It's a lot of Rice Krispies.
Yeah. My brain, I'm not going to lie, I can't actually equate that.
IGA, like the big box of cereal, that's like 550.
Oh, damn.
So I get some weird looks when I walk out of the IGA, out of the supermarket store with like 4 boxes of Rice Krispies under my shoulders.
Surely they just look at you and be like, obviously this guy.
Yeah, but everyone's like, Rice Krispies?
Oh, okay.
So why are you buying kids
cereal?
You'd
be buying the Hector protein.
Yeah, and stuff like that. I'm like, well, these are lower sugar ones that you've got in here. There's something like 30 carbs to like 3 grams of sugar. I'm like, ratio-wise, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Then lunch would be, I'm going to drop it down a bit now, but for the last 4 months, it's been 225 grams of rice, 200 grams of beef mince, 35 grams of cheese over the top, 75 onion, 75 pepper, and then 3 tortilla wraps.
So when you say pepper, you mean like a bell pepper?
Yeah.
Right, okay, cool,
Like capsicum.
Yes, I know. I don't know. Yeah.
If it's Aussie or whatever, but yeah, in there. Then put all of that inside 3 like tortilla wraps.
Is that a burrito kind of?
Yeah.
A really super healthy burrito.
But yeah, it's like 3 burritos where you're struggling to fold the things and you're like pushing it down.
Right.
So that equates to like 2,000 calories.
That meal
One
alone?
meal.
Or what you've... Right,
Yeah, just the one meal.
Damn.
And then I'd have the exact same thing for dinner.
Yeah, so you've had lunch and then do you have a snack between dinner, or you just have dinner?
No, because I'll tend to, if I'm ideal day again, I'd eat half of my lunch at like 12.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And then half of it at like 1:32.
Yeah.
So I'd have like 2 of the wraps and then another wrap a bit later. And then at dinner will be like 7ish, 6:37. Have the exact same meal. But what I do is when I cook it, I just cook up 2 portions, chuck half of it in the fridge for the day after. And then after that, I have another protein shake in the evening.
So how many... Right, okay, cool. Damn. That's such a... I would have thought it'd be more, but I guess the individual meals themselves are like... Are like...
It's like 2,000 essentially.
Cool.
Or
so you're having...
breakfast and the shake adds up to 2,000.
So how many protein scoops? I know that's like a generic term, but how many?
Well, a scoop is technically 25.
Yeah.
But I have 20 in the shake in the morning, shake in the evening.
Right, so you only really have 2, yeah. I say only, so I know you're getting so much protein and other things.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds weird, but even the rice alone, there's quite a bit of protein.
Yeah.
The wraps, 3 of them has, I think, like 5 grams per wrap, so that's 15. Then the beef, 200 grams of minced beef is a lot.
And then, see, what protein shake do you have?
I get it from my protein.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
See, I used to do that for ages.
Yeah.
And then I jumped off of that for the reason where I was like... I don't know, for the reason where I was like, I don't know if I'm just like on the popular bandwagon.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to get, and they've always got a deal on. So I jumped to gold standard like whey protein.
Yeah.
And the only reason I did that though is because I was like, I guess I did obviously look at the nutritional stuff a little bit. But it was more just because I was like, I feel like my protein and my uneducated opinion was like just the fad one.
It's a big brand. It's what I've always used. Even when I played rugby, I used it.
Straight back to that. Because
flavours wise, way better.
Gold standards are well expensive.
Yeah, way expensive. Mo Protein always has some kind of deal.
Always.
And I don't like it. I like it over here, but I like it better in England.
Yeah.
Because the flavours are way more broad. And they have like bars and things like that.
Yeah.
Like oat bars and things like that, and cookies and stuff like that. I used to buy them in bulk back home. Whenever they had a deal on it, was like, 50% off our bars. I'm like, cool, I'll have 10 boxes.
Yeah.
Just stick them in the cupboard, they don't go off. And then I used to have that I'd have that as my snack, because it was like 20 protein, 40 carbs, and 10 fat. I could just have that as a snack. And you're like, okay, 400 calories done. Yeah. Easy.
So see, right, maybe this is a good question to ask you then. See, so part of the reason I did swap though was because, and again, this is so stupid because I don't even know what they mean, really. But I went from my protein to Gold Standard because I was like, well, Gold Standard's got 5.5 grams of BCAAs.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know what BCAA is, but I was like
amino acids.
Well, they've got...
It's amino acids.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's so stupid. But I'm like, oh, well, they've got this thing, but I don't... So what is the difference? I mean, if you know, like, between, like, so let's just take the protein, for example, here, like, the my protein that you get compared to the Gold Standard that I'm getting, like, see the how it's like you've got 5.5 grams of, like, BCAAs.
Both of them will have something in. And if your whole, because what you should remember is protein is not, but there's some stages in my diet where I don't need protein powder.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting all my protein from it. It's a supplement to help me get to my protein intake, which is like 260 at the minute, which is...
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It's high, because nobody, unless you are trying to go to the gym every day and people, protein intake doesn't need to be that high. So it's a supplement to help get to things. You shouldn't be getting everything from that. If your diet alone is good enough, BCAAs that come from that, again, is a bonus, and those little extras isn't needed. So unless you are going to the gym every day as a bodybuilder, because your diet, if you're eating enough meats and stuff like that, you're getting enough BCAAs from those foods alone.
Yeah, so obviously I appreciate you don't know like my diet and like my exact workout, but for generally for me, so I'm doing like right now I'm doing like 4 swim sessions a week. I'm actually only going to the gym twice a week.
Yeah.
But I take, even when I'm swimming, I take a protein shake. More as like a kind of like recovery, and because when I did that app, I was like, oh, I'm definitely not eating it enough. I should have the protein shake to make sure that I'm just banging it right up. See, in that instance, and again, I appreciate you don't know everything that I'm doing, but like, do you think do I even need to take the gold standard runs? If I'm not really taking it I'm not that interested.
All protein powders are slightly different, but they all do the same thing.
Yeah, like essentially, I guess what I'm saying is like, have I jumped on the like, oh, it's got the extra stuff and it's the like, you know, the more known brand. Like if I, like
between brands, it's not a massive difference at all.
Damn, I should have known that because I literally bought it yesterday.
That's
$120.
That's what I mean. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but as long as you're doing the other stuff, it's kind of like those things where it's like diet, train, cool. Then you can add this in as well. Then you can add this in as well. And as you get to be the best of the best, those 1% matter. Yeah, definitely. If you're just doing it down, it doesn't make that much of a difference to you. But BCAAs and stuff, if you look at the back of everything, it will say that it contains this much of this much of this, but it doesn't make. You can get it from other places as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can literally just buy BCAAs as a tub as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, man. That's kind of like one thing that I would definitely want to educate myself on more. I mean, I have actually educated myself on it. Like I've read, you know, the benefits of whey protein isolate, where it comes from, blah blah blah. Yeah. But I think just like knowing. Yeah, I guess really just exactly what you just said there. Like if you're not really at that top like level, it's probably much a muchness.
Exactly. Like I said, the main thing is so many people take protein shakes of any kind. Yeah. And then they just eat shit anyway. Yeah. There's no point.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. So I would say like, to give myself a benefit of the doubt, that's one thing. Like I actually have generally like a pretty good diet. Like I definitely love sweets and stuff like that, but I'm not really. Like my diet is pretty good. Yeah. And I think that's where I was kind of like, that's where I was trying to fine tune it to like add these extra little things in. But then like I was trying to, do you know Josh that goes up to the gym? Long hair. It's quite, well, I was going to say quite, it's not quite whatsoever. Anyway, I was chatting to him. I ran out of creatine. I was like, oh, I need to go all the way to Canmore to buy the creatine. And he was like, dude, just go fucking IDA. You can buy a creatine thing in there. And I was like, yeah, but it's like not the one that I buy. And he's like, it's the exact same thing as...
Yeah, creatine monohydrate.
Yeah, he's like, they're all the same.
Yeah. As long as you get that.
Funny how you just get on these total bandwagons.
Oh yeah, again, I buy mine from my protein because I buy it in bulk. It's cheap.
Do you take any take any supplements like AG1 and all that?
No, literally I take protein powder and creatine.
Is that it? Yeah.
That's all I've ever done. I didn't take creatine until I was like 20.
Oh yeah,
and everyone thought I was on it anyway. Yeah. I was like I was educated on it. I just messaged one of my mates. I was like, you've done creatine for a while, haven't you? Did you find any difference like from taking it just from a money's perspective? I was like, I feel fine, I don't need it. Yeah. He was like, haven't you been on it for like 5 years? I was like, no. He was like, do it. Yeah. Idiot. And yeah, it definitely makes a difference. Yeah. Recovery wise, energy wise in the gym, and the ability to lift heavier and do more from it. Yeah, big difference. Yeah, again, like I think I jumped. Like my bench jumped from. This is when I first started taking it. Bench jumped from like 120, which was like still decent. It jumped to like 140 in like 4 weeks, just from taking creatine. And everyone was like, "Are you sure it's creatine?" I swear, it is. But suddenly, just my muscles had more water in there. Yeah. My ATP could recover quicker. Everything. I just felt way more energy, and I was like, okay, yeah, it makes a big difference. So you said ATP there. What's that? I struggle saying the word, but I know it's adenosine triphosphate. Right. Okay. It's like your main your body's main energy source. Right. Okay. And basically, your body uses ATP. Oh yeah, sorry, I did. I'm gonna do this. I did read this. Yeah. And then your stores only last like 15 seconds, which is why you do a set of 5. And it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. You try and do it for another set. You try and do it for a set of 10. You're like, we're getting to the end, it's getting tiring. You try and do a set of 20, you're like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
No, you can do it with a lower weight, but you wouldn't be able to do it with that. So as well, you rest, and then you go again. You're like, oh, I can do the same weight again. Yeah, because your energy stores have recovered. And basically the creatine, you need certain things in your, there's a chemical reaction that goes on that is restored by doing this, which involves creatine. So having more creatine in your system and in your muscle stores, having more water there and stuff, restores that ATP quicker, allows you to go again quicker, or keeps them higher, so then you can get those extra 1 or 2 reps. And basically there's a lot, people are like, well, it makes you retain water. I'm like, yeah, but in your muscles.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you retain water and make you look bloated. It makes you look full because your muscles have suddenly got a shitload of water in there. And essentially having that there, yeah, if you come off creatine, you'll lose a lot of water weight, but there'll be a lot more muscle there than was before. 100%, because you're able to train and recover more.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing that I noticed. Like, I didn't look at my weight too much, but I just felt like I was fuller.
Yeah.
Like the best way to
Like your
describe
muscles
it.
just become tighter and everything like that.
That's fucking legit.
Yeah.
So with regards to like, not to go into like the true like details of your workout, but like, so see you like how many days and what's your sets in your rep range are you training?
So this isn't like, if we go from right now, if you was asked me this question like 2 months ago, the days would be slightly different.
Right.
But it'd still basically be the same.
And
just because I change things a little bit every 2 months. If you do it any more frequently, then you're going to do something once and then not get any better at it until you do it again. There's no point. You've got to gradually do it. And when I say I change it, I haven't like gone, like everything's changed. Basically went from doing, like, I do like, okay, my arms need a bit more work. We're going to add in that a bit more frequency of doing arms a bit more. My hamstrings need to be brought up to catch up with my quads. Okay, leg day basically becomes a bit more hamstring dominant rather than quad dominant. That's what I mean by I change things every 8 weeks. Right now I do chest and tris one day, back and bis next day, then shoulders.
Just shoulders.
Just shoulders. Because that's one of my weak points.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So would you, if you had a weak muscle, would you swap the shoulders? Out?
For example, my chest is like ridiculously dominant.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Always has been.
Right.
Like I say, my bench now is like one. I haven't tested it for a while, but last time I just I train for bodybuilding, so I don't do one max often. But sometimes I'm still like, yeah, we're gonna see what it is. We're gonna have a look, because I'm like, what my 8 and rep range you were saying, like I train 8 to 12. I'm like, if the weight's gone up considerably on those, I'm like, I know my 1 reps, surely it's gone up a bit.
Yeah.
But sometimes it hasn't. It's just because I might be able to lift more at those rep ranges, but I haven't trained at the low rep range for a while. But yeah, chest and tris, back and bis, shoulders. Then because my arms are not great, like in comparison to other body parts, they need to be brought up. Then I do an arm day on its own.
Right.
Then leg day.
Dang.
And because my hamstrings are a bit like,
yeah,
sometimes I'll do like every other week on my back day, I'll put a bit of hamstrings in there as well. Right. So, and then I'd rest and then we repeat.
And are you doing like, you were chatting about obviously not doing a ton of cardio, like do you do any like stair walking or anything?
For a period of time I didn't do it because I was just struggling to put on weight.
Yeah.
It's great to do it, but you know, where I live in town, getting up to the gym.
Oh, true. Yeah, you just walk.
My walk to the gym is 25 minutes,
yeah.
and it's uphill. So if I do that there and then I do it back, I'm not just dawdling along. I'm going at a pretty quick pace. So I found that was enough to keep me going, and I'd still be doing 10 to 15,000 steps a day, easy. Some days I'm hitting 20, so I'm getting cardio just going around walking. Because I did used to do like 15 to 20 minutes on a bike every day. I just found I was like, I can't put on weight. And I'm like, it's probably why. Yeah. Probably why I'm doing that plus 50 minutes of cardio going back and forth to the gym every day. So I went for a period of not doing it. And now I do, currently on the plan, I'm doing like 15 minutes 3 times a week, just sat on the bike. I'm not.
Have you ever done that Stairmaster?
If I get to the cut, Yeah, Stairmaster and treadmill are going to come into play.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm not going like balls to the wall. I'm doing like slow pace, slow to medium intensity.
Yeah.
But I'm going for like an hour.
Well, that's what I did. So I asked that question because I've never really been a Stairmaster guy. I would run outside.
Oh, nah.
Dude, I went on I've been on it before, like throughout the years, but the other day I went on it instead of swimming for whatever reason, and I did it for an hour.
Yeah.
I burned like 700 calories.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like going
brutal,
crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, weirdly loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, because I would look at it, I'm like, what? It's like so boring. And then I was like, I guess I was actually watching a podcast.
Oh, you've got to watch something.
Yeah, like, true. If I was, because the wall's
cardio.
Like right here.
But any kind of cardio, man.
Yeah.
If you ever see me on any kind of cardio and there's nothing on my phone, just know that I have been through something terrible in my life. And don't try and talk to me because I might kill you.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't watch or listen to anything while they're on cardio, I'm like, what has happened?
Yeah, no, I know.
What have you been through?
Yeah, I totally agree with you because so now I'm doing a lot of swimming and dude, it's like, so I swam for like an hour and 20 minutes the other day because obviously I've got this race I need to swim quite far, and that's the furthest I've actually swam before that, but anyway, it's the furthest I've ever swam, and oh my god, mate, I was going like mental in my head because it was the first, running you got headphones, cycling you can have headphones, the Stairmaster, whatever. Whereas with that, it's just like your thoughts and your breath. Yeah, and I'm not good enough. Like I'm actually getting a coach soon because I'm not good enough to like, be daydreaming. I need to be like thinking about my technique and stuff. Doing that for like an hour and 20 minutes. And I will say there's like brief periods of time within it where you are in a bit of a zen.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
But see,
sometimes the second you pop out of that, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah. So see, and so I want to ask you this because I think this is the mistake I've made when I've been going to the gym. This is definitely the mistake I've made when I've gone to the gym. So I would go up and weigh incrementally, like really small, but like all the time. So when you're going up, so like I say that to say like I would only be going up maybe like 2.5, I guess it's pounds here. Yeah. But I'd be going up 2.5 pounds, but like I'd literally be doing it like every week. And I think that's how I injured myself because I'm like, oh, I'm only going up like.
You want to try and push it to that stage. Like when I say I'm training in rep ranges, like typically at the minute, different exercises I do little different things, but most things I'll do 3 or 4 sets. Mm-hmm. The first set, I've been enjoying doing a top set, which means like I'll do heavier weight. This is once I'm warmed up, of course. I've done a couple of sets to warm the muscle that I know I'm going to be working to a level. I'll do a top set where I go heavy, but I'm only going 5 to 8. And then I'll do 2 or 3 other sets where I'm going 12-ish reps.
Okay, that's okay. Hey.
Yeah, but I've dropped the weight a bit to be able to get it because what I don't want is I'm not doing those 8 reps knowing I could do another 2. Yeah. My range is 5 to 8 because I'm going to start at weight where I can only just get 5. I'm going to stay on that weight until I get 8. And then I'm going to put the weight up slightly, and then where I can only get 5 again. And when I'm saying I'm doing reps of 12, I'm getting that 12th one. I'm like, okay, I can only just about get that. Yeah. If I could push it to 15, so that's when I say when I do 12, I want to hit 12, but I may have miscalculated the weight and I can get 15, I'll do 15. And then if I can only get 12 on the next one, I'm like, oh, okay, good weight. Yeah. If I can get 12 easily, weight needs to go up.
Right, okay, sweet, yeah.
So that's why I liked giving a rep range rather than just 12. Yeah. Because then people are like, oh, how do I gauge it? I'm like, we'll go 12 to 15 or 10 to 12. Yeah. If you can get 10, okay, you can't get any more. Next week, you might be able to get 11. Yeah. Week after that, you might be able to get 12. Next week, you're going to put the weight up, you're going to go 10 again.
Yeah, so that's actually exactly what I was doing. So mine was 12. So I do 3 sets, 12 to 15 range. And so what I was doing before was like as soon as I was hitting 15, it was going up. But then because of the last effectively year of like having this pain, I just got so paranoid about it that I effectively got to a point now where I'm like, I'm still like training for me like decently heavy weights, but now I'm like, I'm honestly kind of scared to go up again because I'm like, also my goals slightly changed. Like I'm doing my goal, like for you, same as you, like next year I've got this swim race, which is obviously all cardio, so my goal therefore has changed. and I'm just like too terrified. I honestly, the whole injury thing has like terrified me to like kind of, I don't know, I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm hitting 15. I'm pretty much now just actually hitting 15 for everything.
Yeah.
And I'm hitting it comfortably. And my brain's just like, should I just stay? For this point in time, for me anyway, for my goal, I'm like, should I just stay here?
That's the thing, it depends on 100% goals and stuff like that. Because for me, all I'm trying to do at this stage in my, like I say, I'm coming towards the end of my bulk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still just trying to build as much muscle as I can at this stage. I'm in a building phase, if you like. So many people say bulk cut. It's building phase. I'm just trying to build muscle tissue. I know I'm going to build fat at the same time, but hopefully I'm trying to basically minimize as much fat as I can, put on as much muscle as I can.
And does it bother you at all when you see like you put on a wee bit?
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, I'm the same.
If you go to any bodybuilder, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
like, no, I hate it. Why? But then you got to look at it from a science and coaching perspective and be like, it's part of it.
Yeah, I even do. I mean, obviously, this is not like
you just try and minimize it as much as possible. Yeah, because I'm like 243, which kilos wise is like 110.
Yeah,
I came to Canada at 90 kilos.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was lean, 90 kilos, but when I was 19, 20, I did a cut as though I was going to compete. I was eating like 1,500 a day, got down to like I was on the Stairmaster for an hour every single day. Like I was treating it as though I was going to do a competition to see how lean I could get. I went and did a body fat like DEX, like proper scan, not just one that you do in the next door kind of
Google
thing.
a video.
Like I went to a proper place and got on a machine, sat in water, did a proper scan. I was down to like 6% body fat, but I was 83.7 kilos. So that's like 30 kilos lighter than I am now.
Yeah, because I'm 70. I weighed myself today. Actually, I'm like 75.
Yeah.
So if you're 83, I'd be like, damn, that'd be pretty.
That's something. I was lean. I didn't have as much muscle as I did now by any means. But in terms of putting on muscle and stuff like that, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So I just want to push my body as much as I can.
And is there a way that, like, is there obviously this weight categories out of the competition? Like, what's the one you want to be in?
So there's different categories in terms of open bodybuilding. Basically means there's no weight category. Yeah. You're just trying to fulfill that criteria.
Oh, really? So open is just like any weight, but you
want to be, it's the 3 S's, size, shape, shredded.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. It's not actually
symmetrical or something.
Symmetry is not as big a thing in open. Yeah. That's what shredded. That's what shape is essentially. Like some people who are shorter are at that disadvantage because they don't have the shape necessarily, whereas some people bigger can have that wider.
See, I'm like that as well. Yeah, like I don't have a mad V.
Yeah. Then there's men's physique, which is like other end. The legs they wear board shorts, stuff like that. The legs now have got a bit bigger. It's more about like, looking physiques. There's different poses they have to do. Just leans and shreds, basically. You want some muscle, but you don't want to be big. It's like
more athletic, if you
in a way.
Bodybuilding athletic.
And then there's the one in the middle, which is there's also like one called 212, where it's basically the weight category, no matter how tall you are, is 212 pounds.
Oh, damn. And
then you're judged like open bodybuilding, but the cap is 212 pounds. So it's for those who are shorter and stuff like that. Easier for you to be 212 pounds, whereas, if you're 5'7", you can be that weight and be fucking huge. Yeah. But if you're 6 foot something, you can't be that weight and be huge because you're just naturally bigger. And then there's the one I want to do, which is classic, which is the one that's become famous over the last years because of Chris Bumstead. And definitely brought a lot of eyes to the sport. It's only was invented in 2016.
Oh, was it? So it wasn't like Ronnie. Where was Ronnie Coleman?
He was open, stuff like that.
Okay.
But classic is because of how crazy open's got. Yeah. Like if you put Arnold next to the open bodybuilders of today, you'd be like, oh, Arnold's small. Yeah. And you're like, that is a sentence that should never be said. that kind of bodybuilder is a small person.
And was he open when he did it?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But then the classic's been brought in to try and keep that kind of look, essentially, of not just humongous.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because I've seen people online, I'm like, this guy's 100% bigger, muscular-wise than Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
I'm like, so how's he? I thought it was purely like...
So now the classic is like about the shape, about the symmetry, about trying to keep that classic look, which is what bodybuilding was back in that kind of era. So it's more about the posing, more about having the shape that is perfect and the symmetry and the aesthetic side of things.
How do you find the posing? Because I've never really seen you... I think I've seen you maybe do it once in the gym.
Yeah, it's hard to do it. We're in a very small gym with not a lot of space, which is why I struggle to film anything in there.
Yeah.
Because they don't technically allow it either. I know the guys and they're like, you can, but also when it gets busy in there, I don't want to be the dickhead with a tripod.
I'll do that to me today when I was putting that up and there's people kicking around.
Yeah, but you're doing that in like a hall.
Yeah.
You're doing it in the middle of the gym where there's no room. I'm a bit like,
I know.
I want a bigger gym to be able to do this in, so then I don't piss everyone off.
I feel like people... I mean, I'm into it though. So like, because what I was going to say was, I feel like nowadays people would be less... There's so many people that are doing it. I mean, even like me doing this.
Definitely.
That I think people are now less inclined, but you're right. Like, it's definitely still...
It's still definitely an annoyance to some people.
Yeah.
And just... If we were in a bigger facility with a lot more options, I'd be filming every day to try and build up a following and stuff like that. But in terms of... What was it saying? In terms of... Like, actually training there is just not big enough to do it. But in terms of posing, I'd film myself doing posing so I can critique myself. I just can't do that there. I can try and do little things, but it's just not enough room to be able to do it. And I pose and check some things sometimes, but again, it's just that thing of, mate, can I train? You're like in the way. Just I don't want to be stood posing. I'm like, yeah, I get that. It's something I'm trying to work on and make a career, but I'm also like, I don't want to be in the way of anyone else.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think that's...
It's not like a bodybuilding gym. It's the only thing we have.
I'm not like blowing smoke up yours, but the thing as well is that you probably are like the biggest guy in that gym. Yeah. So I think, and I say that in the sense of like, cause I think it's like, and not to be disparaging about anyone, because I obviously train there as well, but I think it's like, it's a gym that's a kind of bit more for like just your average trainer.
Yeah, and I know how intimidating it is for some people, because from my professional side of things, to train, if you're just starting off and you come in and see people doing that kind of thing, you're like, okay, this place isn't for me.
No, I know.
And my professional side of things is like, I don't want to intimidate or make anyone feel uncomfortable and not feel like they can train there.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of annoying you can't train people as well, as you were saying.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Because I get every other day people asking me like, can you give me this? Are you training for something? Like, do you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I can train you online and that's it, because they don't do it there.
Have they said why?
Because it's a non-profit.
Oh yeah, sorry, you were saying
weird thing. Yeah, I just can't do it.
But you've got an online thing.
Yeah, I just train people.
Have you got like a website?
No, I don't do a website. I just do it through my social media, which is why I wish I could do more with that. Yeah, and it's definitely something I need to do.
And what is your social media again?
It's just Instagram, Jonjoe Dolley.
Right, Jonjoe Dolley. Right.
Yeah, it's full name. But it's definitely something I started doing last year, was posting more on that as well. Yeah. But then summer work goes mental and I get my hours get up to 50 to 60. Yeah. Then I was doing a full-time course as well, which is meant to take a year, like studying 20 hours a week. Yeah, Instagram took a backstage thing for that. Now I've done the course and now it's winter. It's definitely something that's on the cards. Yeah. But like doing your podcast and stuff, it's definitely something tricky to do when you either you haven't done it or to get back into the loop of it. Yeah. Because there's part of you that's going, why am I filming this? So
100%.
Do this stuff. But once you get into that flow of things again, you're like, oh, this is normal. Yeah. And it's having the confidence to start it, which is why like I admire you doing this kind of thing. Yeah. Because so many people when they start something, I'm like, oh, people are going to judge me for this. I
really
don't like it. Yeah, but then you start talking to people about it, and I bet most people's reaction to you doing it is going, oh, I've been thinking about doing something like that, or good on you, I've always wanted to try and do this, but I never had the confidence to do it. And you're like, hang on. Every single person is saying the same thing.
definitely. Everything you said, they're spot on, like with the like insecurity about it, and then like, and the thing is, what we were chatting about just at the beginning, like I actually enjoy it as well, like, and I think that's similar to you, where like it comes to like, it's so much easier to be insecure and post about it online because you're like, I actually love this, even if someone, even if every single person was like giving you negative feedback, you're like, well, I'm enjoying this. You know what I mean? Like, I think that makes it so much easier to stick with.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. I can say all that stuff about this here, and then I put it into my own things, because I'm going off of what I just said. I don't want to film anything in the gym because people come up and say anything, and I'm like, hang on.
Oh, mate, I'll do it with you.
The only feedback I've got in the gym is good things. So I'm worrying about stuff that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why am I worrying about that when nothing's happened? Just try it. See if anyone has any complaints or anything.
Yeah.
Then go from there.
Yeah.
Especially now, that's, like I say, it's what I need to start doing to build up that following, just to try and make it career-wise, and then to get more clients and stuff like that, is having that online basis.
Yeah, I think it's so true in anything in life, like having the confidence to just, because I've thought about this for literally, dude, like, maybe the first time I thought about it was like twice me. Because I remember, because I was in Australia at the time.
Yeah.
I only started doing it when I was 31. And I only started doing it because I was like, fucking man, like I've thought about the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like, I'll just do it. And it's always like each little step at a time. Because I'm like, okay, I'll do this little bit. But I won't think about...
The graph of stuff like this is always that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's
because you can't... It's in terms of like how it develops and stuff, sure. But also your knowledge on it. Is you start off, you're like, oh, I don't know anything. Oh, I've learned this a little bit. I've learned this a little bit. And then suddenly you're like, oh, because I know all these little things, I can then do this. Yeah. And then I'm going to do this. And it just suddenly skyrockets.
Yeah, and I think also, kind of, we were chatting about it earlier, but like that confidence of like, between the first time I did it and even this, suddenly the fourth time, but like, obviously today then, like, with the location-wise, then pan out correctly. But just being like, okay, I've done this a couple of times. I know it's going to be like, I've kind of gone through the like nervousness of it.
That's
like, cool, just like pivot. Whereas I think you kind of don't really have that confidence. You're just like,
the first few times as well, you're conscious of that, and so many people will sit here like this, and it just doesn't work.
No.
It's definitely a confidence thing of just being able to talk as though there isn't anything there. Yeah. Because that's all you want it to do.
And it must be like, going back to the bodybuilding though, because confidence must be a massive part of that. Because you need to be like confident that you've done all the training, you're in shape, and then you get on the stage and you're like, I'm gonna fucking do this.
Even though I haven't competed, self-doubt is a massive thing. And how you perceive yourself is a massive thing in bodybuilding, like body dysmorphia, all of that.
Oh, definitely.
You could ask the best person; they'll all say they've had it. Or still have it. Yeah. Nobody sees themselves as though they actually are, which is like horrendous. And you ask them, like, are you ever conscious about how much fat you put on? Yeah, every time. I'm like, I'm so fat right now. I'm like, I know I'm not, but for me, this is the fattest I've been in so long. Yeah. But you're like, I can see this here. Because the thing about bodybuilding, you are judged on how you look. Oh, that is literally the whole thing of it. So people are like, it doesn't matter how you look. It literally does. This is what I'm trying to make my job, is how I look. So and they're like, yeah, but that's such a tiny thing. I'm like, yeah, but that tiny thing is the difference between 6th and 1st. Yeah. You're like, oh. You're like, yeah, it makes a big difference. So when you're constantly analysing your body and critiquing it like that, it's a bit hard to not be like, that your confidence take a hit, because like I say, you put but it's with anything in the life, you put so much effort into it, put everything into it, and you're like, is it enough? Yeah, I guess that's where the training comes in, because is that going to be enough? Which is where then the dedication and stuff comes into, of being, well, if I want to be this top level, you have to make sacrifices elsewhere. Yeah. And that can be sacrifices in diet-wise, and be like, I'm not going to have this I'm not going to go out for this meal. I'm not going to go out being sociable this night because I need to go home and get some sleep. Or it can be just, which is the ones that everyone thinks of, but it can also be sacrifice in your own mental peace of having that every day,
all day,
of being like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. Have I done this enough? Have I done that enough? Is my posing in this position slightly correct? Or should I be doing a slightly slower tempo on this movement? Should I, rather than just going and just having that peace from not putting that much pressure on yourself. And sure, I haven't competed and I'm not at a high level now, but that's where I want to get to. And I know that's what it takes to get to that. So it's definitely the sacrifice is your own peace of state of mind. I'd say it's a bigger sacrifice than going out and getting pissed with your mates.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, because, you know, I'm doing all this swimming and it's like, I think, obviously think about it every day. I'm like, fuck, like, okay, I need to do this training thing, and then, okay, it swims next September. Am I going to be like, have I done enough training? And yeah, it's like mental torture. But the reason I was asking you about how, if you found discipline easy or how you managed to do it, was because I've done a couple of things, right? So I did an Ironman, and then I ran 100 miles, and then I'm doing this other thing.
Yeah.
But in between those things, they were like kind of 2 years apart. This one's actually been a bit longer. But between, you know, the Ironman and the 100 miles, like, see, because I didn't have anything, like, I totally lost all discipline, and I lost.
Definitely a big thing is consistency.
Yeah, and I realised, sorry to come back to it, I realised that I enjoyed the pressure. Obviously in the moment it's because right now I'm like, God, tomorrow I'm going to go and swim, like, you know, it doesn't matter how long, but tomorrow I'm like, oh, I need to go swim. I want to just, I actually want to do something, but probably not swim. Whereas, like, now that I've had these periods of, like, after doing something like that, and you kind of come back down to, like, okay, I've got no real, like, no responsibilities, but I've got no real, like, goal, so I don't need to do anything. I've realised my brain just kind of goes like, blah.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I don't know, I actually feel a bit, like, without going too deep, but I feel like I'm a bit lost almost. Where I'm just like,
if you don't have something
I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
go towards,
I'm working and I'm doing, so I enjoy it. I say that to say that, like, don't get me wrong, when I'm actually swimming, sometimes I'm like, this is like torture, but I'm like, oh yeah, because you do it, and then as soon as you're finished, like, fuck man, I feel amazing.
Yeah, because you've accomplished something and you get to it, but it's when it becomes, when you complete something or when you achieve something, you can be so in depth with it that if you finish something, you do what you wanted to do, you can be so focused on that when you actually do it, it can just be relief and you don't actually feel any joy or anything.
Yeah.
That's when you've got to rethink.
Yeah. So
not doing it, but rethink how you're doing it, because if you don't feel any enjoyment from it or any joy or anything, you just feel relief. And so many high level people say this, like, the first time all I felt was relief that I managed to get through it.
That's exactly, sorry.
And then you get that other thought, it's like, I've got to try to do that again.
Yeah, because that's when I did the Ironman. I remember it was during COVID, so I say that because I was like, there's no one there. I actually did it in Estonia. Yeah. Like, I was supposed to do it in Ireland. Yeah. And then they cancelled it, and then they were like, you got two options, South Africa or Estonia. So I went from being like, oh, I'll get like a ferry with all my shit. So anyway, sorry. So I was in Estonia on my own. The race finished like 10:30, and I just had no, like, I was expecting this, like, you know, euphoric moment. Because before that, I'd never really done anything of any real note sports-wise. You know, and obviously that's quite a big thing. So I remember being like, oh, I'm going to tee up, I'm going to have this, like, cross the line. Yeah. And I remember I, like, had none of that. I literally was just like, maybe, I just kind of crossed, and I was like, cool. Yeah. You know, messaged everyone. Obviously the medal was cool, but I didn't really have that. You
definitely got to allow yourself to take in moments. Something I've definitely tried to improve on, just with little things. You got to allow yourself to actually be there and be present and enjoy every little bit of it. Yeah. Rather than just be like constantly like, okay, next thing.
I know.
And then you get to it and you're like, oh, I've done it. I know I've done it, but I don't really feel like I've done anything. Yeah. Because you weren't there. Yeah. You weren't present in the moment and allowed yourself to actually feel a lot of it. Yeah. And it's definitely something I'm going to try and keep in my mind. I can say all of this right now because I'm allowed to eat
Yeah, what you want.
Jesus, like a lot of food, and I'm not feeling hungry every 2 minutes. And I'm not feeling tired, unable to stand up and stuff like that, which is a level of leanness I did get to.
Yeah.
We just like,
Oh, really?
yeah, when I was like 5,
You're so tired.
when I was like 5%,
fatigued.
you just feel tired all the time. You're like,
And then you're working and you're just like...
that's the thing, because I was working full time as well. I definitely was struggling.
How long is the cut?
I
know. Yeah.
When if I was going for a competition right now, I want to do a prep. Like I say, prep is basically the cut time of it. I'd want to go 20 weeks.
Damn. So that's quite long.
Yeah, but
it's not like a month of torture. It's like...
No, well, but the start of it isn't torture. It'll be like the last 8 weeks, which would be like hell. And obviously, the closer you get, the more hellish it becomes. So it's not like, oh, it gets easier. No, it gets harder and harder and harder and harder until the day of the competition, because that's what peak week is. You want to peak and be the best, because you can't hold that condition of looking your ultimate best in terms of bodybuilding ways and categories for a long period of time, because it's just not healthy. You can't look like that.
Yeah. So what body percentage would you want to get down to?
I have to get down to like 5.
Yeah.
To be shredded.
But you were saying you've been at 6 before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been that level of lean before, but I was nowhere near as big as this now.
And does the fact that you're bigger, would that make it harder? Nah. Is it kind of much at muchness? Do you know what I mean?
It will make it harder in terms of my body will be like, where is all this food?
Yeah.
We need more food than this, because I'm heavier, so you need more food to provide that.
And how do you find, like, I guess it's not really too big a question just now. I was going to say, how's like when you're doing it, like, what's your relationship like with your girlfriend? Is she super supportive?
That's the thing, like, I haven't been through any of it with her. So now it's not as big a thing. Yeah, it's definitely, you have to be with the right person to be able to understand. Like, oh, can we go out and do this? I'm like, no, I'm going to the gym. But you went to the gym is not like, oh, I went yesterday, so I don't have to go today. It's what I go every day. Yeah. This is my schedule, so this is what I do. And at the moment, I can be more lenient diet-wise and like, yeah, we can go out for dinner this night. I'm not saying I go out every other night for a dinner or have lunches. But yeah, once a week, we can go and have something. Whereas if I was on prep, no.
Yeah, because I'm kind of, super unfortunate, but then fortunate with this conversation that my girlfriend and I are doing like long distance just now. Yeah. So like, I'm kind of like, have all this free time to train.
Do stuff,
Yeah, because if she was here, I would be like, yeah, like, you know, so my weekend, Saturday, Sunday, this morning I didn't really need to go to the gym, but like tomorrow I need to swim. Yeah. So she's like, if she, throughout the summer, which she wasn't here for, I was like, she would be like, do you want to go hike? Obviously live in the national park. And I'd be like, nah, I need to go swim. Yeah. And I think that was the benefit of the 2 things I've done prior was I was single when I did both of them. Yeah. So it was kind of like you have all this kind of infinite time. Yeah.
It's definitely, like you say, sacrifices again.
But then it's nice also, and the flip side of that, I had all the time, but then like on my downtime, which was like very short, like I didn't have anyone to just be at home with and just chill. Because that's kind of what you're doing when you're like, especially, I imagine you're the same way, like when you're not training, especially when you get to the tail end there, like when you're not training, you're like pure recovery mode. So exactly. Like even just like going out for like a pint with your mates.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't drink or anything, not because of fitness side of things, but definitely.
I was going to say, so you don't drink now?
No, it's just not.
That's the best, yeah.
Well, when I played rugby, I drank a lot. Yeah, I've probably drunk more than most people, most people will in their lifetime. But for me, it's not a thing that I desire.
I know. I go through phases of like, so the start of every year, I actually took this from my brother-in-law, where like at the start of every year, I'll always have a like pretty much like a one minimum, but like anywhere up to like 3 months like total like sobriety thing. And then throughout the year I'll just have random, like I haven't drank for like, that's a lie, I drank last weekend, but before that it was like a month. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know, man, sometimes when I'm drinking I'm like, I don't even know if I'm actually enjoying this. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I definitely do. Yeah. But it's always like, the first 1 or 2 beers, and then the last week of so I actually was like quite a big night out on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because it was like a work thing, which if I drink, I'm usually like pub 1 or 2, go home, whereas this was quite a big night. So anyway, I say that to say that this whole week was effectively me just trying to like get back to being a human again, and especially when you're training for something as hard as you are, like a week is like a lot, especially when it's all to do with your body and how you look. Like, you know, you get bloated from all the Guinnesses, and fucking everything else.
It's one of the things I find hilarious. Is like whenever I say people, like especially in the culture here of the town, it's such a small town, and everyone's youngsters and everyone goes out and drinks and parties every night. As soon as some people meet me and they're like, "Do you want to go grab a drink?" I'm like, "No, I don't drink." And they're like, "What? Like at all?"
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, like what's wrong?"
Did you have like a I'm like, no, I didn't have a problem. I don't drink. I would get less of a reaction if someone came over, offered me a glass of water, and I'm like, "Oh no, I don't drink water." They'd be like, "Oh, okay."
No. Oh, you must drink alcohol.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh no, sorry, I don't put that into my body that does that to me.
Well, when I went out that on Sunday, the amount of people that were like, "What? Like I've never seen you," because there's guys from the gym, and they were like, "I've never seen you out." Like, and I was like, and I'll be honest, like I was drunk, and I was like, "Oh, this is like super cool, like seeing everyone," and it was. But then inevitably, you wake up the next day and you're just like.
But yeah, so that's why I'm not. What I was saying about sacrifices and stuff, I don't miss doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But for example, in my friends group, so many people who I work with and stuff, they'll be like organising something. I don't even get asked to come now.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt me, but it's still like, that's a thing I'm not part of, and I don't mind it because this is what I want to do. But you do sacrifice social stuff like that to be able to do that, because they know if they ask me, I'm going to go, I'm good, I don't want to come. I know. I would be welcome there if I wanted to, but to do what I want to do, I don't go.
I know, I'm the same, man. I'm super boring when it comes to like, so this is pretty much my weekly routine is Monday to Friday I work.
Yeah. Train
pretty much all those days. I'll train on like a Saturday or a Sunday. I always try and take one of them off. And then did see apart from that, usually, obviously my girlfriend's not here, but if she was here, I'd be chilling with her. But like now I'm just like, I would like be doing something related with this, messing around with the website, or like honestly like chilling reading a book. Yeah. And like so many people, because you're right, Banff is such a social town where people come for a season and they're here to party. Yeah. Like so many people, they'll be like, even my friends, they'll be like, fucking hell man, you literally like never go out. But I sometimes, I'm like, I actually enjoy my life.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly what I mean.
It's that kind of pressure of being like
doing it. Yeah, there's definitely a.
Because I'm like, pressure. Oh, should I be? Because I don't want to go in. I don't want to have a hangover ever. But like, I certainly don't want to have a hangover when I'm working. But it's that kind of, and I know they don't mean it, but I think it's that kind of like pure judgment of like, I'm like, I actually enjoy just like fucking chilling and not doing much.
It's definitely something that is an issue for so many people. And even for myself, like we were just discussing about like starting this and filming in the gym. So many times people were like, what are other people going to think of me? Rather than what am I going to think of myself? Yeah. Which should be way more important. Like, yeah, granted, there's some things where, it matters what other people think. Yeah. But if you're a good enough person, you're going to be thinking the same of them on that wavelength. Yeah. But with things like that, like going out or not, do you want to go out? No. Yeah. End of.
I know. That's it. I think that's the thing. Like, Roy Keane, footballer, he said no is a sentence. You can just say no. Yeah. And I try and do that where I'm like, but then it's like the whole societal thing where like someone asks you, if you say, I know, you were like, hey, do you want to go out for a night out? And I just didn't want to go. And there was no reason why I just didn't want to go.
Yeah, you have to justify yourself these days.
Oh, no, but it's because I'm like money or I'm tomorrow. But now I try and be better and I'm just like, nah. And if people will say like, how come I won't just be like, I won't be brutal about it, but I will just be like honestly, I just don't want to go out.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like that.
That's why with my like mates now, like I say, they don't even bother asking. Yeah. Not because they're being rude and don't want me to come, but they know. And I quite like it. They know that that's not my thing. Yeah. If they go, oh, we're going out for a meal, if they're going to go for a meal at some point, they tend to all, like my best mates now, will organise it like a week or so ahead. Be like, we're going to go out for a meal on this night. Don't have to come, but just so you know, there's a seat there, so you can work it into your routine and stuff like that. amazing.
Yeah.
They do that because they're my mates and they know me. Whereas people who don't know me will be like, "You coming out tonight? You're going to have a couple of drinks?" I'm like, and then my mate will go across and be like, "I'm coming. He's going to do his own thing."
Yeah.
They're like people who know you and still friends with you, even though you do all this stuff.
Yeah.
They're your friends.
Yeah.
People who don't want to associate with, I'm not offended that you don't want to associate with me. We're just different people, but we're not going to get along. My mates now, we'll go out and all get pissed together. I'm not saying that they shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with them doing that, but they know I'm not going to attend those social events. They'll do a social event that I'll go to as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's what, when I was asking about your girlfriend, because I think that was something that I definitely, just for the things I've done, like having the support of mates is definitely big. Because I remember I had a friend, I say I had, we're still friends, but I've got a friend where, and this wasn't even when I was doing these races, it was just like, I just didn't want to drink I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to him, because we were friends, he'd always be asking me out. I'm like, dude, like, and I literally made it, like, eventually one time I just texted him, like, real, like, honest, but I was like, dude, I would really appreciate it if you didn't ask me to drink. I was like, I'm more than happy to come out. Because what would happen is, you'd ask me to drink, I'd say no, he'd be like, come out anyway, I'd go out anyway.
Yeah, and then he'd still go on about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember saying to him, I was like, I just, see when I say I don't want to drink, don't, like, just let it be. Because the thing is, like, I'll be totally honest, man, like, it kind of has tainted our relationship a little bit from my point of view.
Oh, for some people, yeah, some people it does. Yeah,
because I've got other friends who I'm like, I don't want to go out. And no, sorry. I'll be like, yeah, I'll come, but I won't drink. And they're like, cool, yeah, sweet. Or even if I say, like, hey, nah, I don't want to go out, they're just like, cool, yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
And see, as soon as someone says that, like, it's almost like a relief of.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, this other friend, they just kind of like hound you, and you're just like, I appreciate you want to hang out with me because we're friends, but I was like, it almost is like driving me away because you're just not appreciating.
Oh yeah.
What, like,
definitely.
I'm not being too wanky about it, but like, you're not appreciating like my personal.
Yeah.
You're
not being like, you can't drink because I'm here, which is how so many other people feel. I'm like, you can carry on. It doesn't bother me. I just don't want to drink. It's like forcing that onto someone else. That's where it becomes an issue. That's like when I played rugby, we used to go out and get fucked after every game. It just was part of the rugby culture that I was playing. Even that when we were playing like top level, you'd still celebrate a win and you'd still do all the recovery stuff and everything, but yeah, you'd still get fucked up. Doesn't matter. When I came out of that bubble and I stopped drinking, because I stopped drinking pretty much straight away afterwards, and I'd still meet up with mates, I'd go watch a game. They'd be like, do you want to drink? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Half of the people went, what? And half of them went, oh, all right. And that was a massive relief to have mates who I'd done that with for years and years on every weekend or whatever, to just go, okay. You're like, oh, they don't care.
It's not bothered, yeah.
They're fine with that. They're like, yeah, you're still here, you're still watching us, you're still mates with us. We're not going to judge you because of that. Whereas some people who I thought were friends would be like, well, why not? Like, this is what we do. And I'm like, well, it's not what I want to do anymore. And then you realise, like you said, it puts a bit of a taint on it, and you're like, actually, we are very different people. So, like, the only thing that we were doing was that, and that's not a friendship then. If you're all the only thing you have in common is drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, hang on, am I going to sit down and have a conversation like this with this person? Fuck no.
Yeah. I remember there was a guy, I was like 18 or something in Glasgow, and it was like a group of, so there was like my friendship group and another friendship group, and we were kind of like mutual mates, like everyone kind of somewhat knew each other. But there was like a boy in the other group that I was like only on a night out with. So I only got to know him because I knew some of his mates. So I would go on a night out, and our groups would bump into one another. Him and I would instantly, like, we would leave everyone and like have our own night and like be like steaming and whatever. And then we were like the best of mates, right? Did it all the time actually, because you're 18, I was going out all the time. I remember the first time I met him when I was sober in city centre. I was walking through town. I saw him. I was like, what's happening, man? We were buzzing, like, blah, blah. And then see, as soon as they're like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, dude, it was so awkward. I was like, so there was nothing weird. There. It was honestly comical, and he must have thought the same thing. I was like, so I'm just gonna go. It was so fucking funny. But yeah, there's and a kind of sadder story. But there was a girl in town a few years ago that I was neighbours with, and she was drinking a lot. And I think she'd had a night out where like I think she just done something that she regretted. Not like anything crazy, but I think she just done something she regretted. At this point in time, I wasn't drinking. So like, you know, and we were kind of like neighbours, going really well, and I was chatting to her, and then she'd done something a weekend, but it was like weekend number 100 of like doing something stupid.
Yeah.
And I remember after that she was like, I'm going to stop. So she stopped, and then I remember within like a couple of weeks, she was like, she ended up going home, but she kept not drinking it. But then I remember after a few weeks she came to me and we were kind of chatting. I was like, oh, how's it going, blah blah. And she was like, my mates don't even want to hang out with me. Because I will say her friendship group was massive.
That's the thing. They
all they did was drink and take drugs. Like, and they were all cool people, but like that was literally
what they did.
all they did.
Yeah.
And she was like, fucking like so and so's not talking to me, and they don't ask me to do anything. This was like within a few weeks.
Oh yeah, it's mental when it's how quickly it happens.
She was like, but she vice versa as well. She was also like, I don't even want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
You know, and you kind of realise that they weren't really friends. And I know this sounds quite negative, but it's more like they were just like,
you're not friends. You just, especially here in Banff, like you've just met each other. You're all doing that kind of thing. There's nobody else here. You're going to do that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. When I say I have friends here, I have people like I'll hang out with and chat. Yeah, I don't really hang out with, but some people I talk with in work and stuff like that.
Jim's the biggest one.
Jim's the biggest one for me, 100%. But I will talk to you guys when I see you in the gym, and I'll come and do something like this. But I don't really see anyone outside of that. Yeah. It's a sad sentence to say. It's a horrendous example. I don't really have friends here. Yeah.
I think Banff is like that. I'm in the exact same wavelength as you, and I think to give both of us a bit of a benefit of the doubt, I think Banff is also such a transient place though. Like, oh yeah, I've been here 4 years, and it's like the amount of different friendship groups I've had where like people come, you make friends with them, they leave. So after 6 months, or they go back to, visas, everyone's visa runs out and they leave. Yeah. So I think it is kind of hard as well, where it's like,
you're like, I'm not going to be friends with this person forever, which is calm. Cool, but also, like, I'm not going to spend time with someone and invest in someone if we don't really get along, and we don't have the same mindset and stuff like that. I've never met anyone who my mindset is very different in terms of the sporting aspect. Yeah, there's hundreds of other people like that, but there's no one in Banff like that. Yeah, no. If I was thinking solely about my career in terms of personal training and bodybuilding, why the hell am I living in this town? It's not the most beneficial move for me. I'd go and live in Calgary or something like that, but I don't want to live in the city at the minute. Yeah. Because this is a beautiful place, I'm still enjoying those kind of aspects. But it's moving towards more like next year, I'm going to move somewhere and go bang. Okay. So when you sign up for your competition, if it's in Vancouver, Calgary, you're going to go there. You wouldn't like train here and then have the thing? Oh, I would do that, yeah. But in terms of once I decide this is what I want to do full term, which is why I want to try to do this one competition. Yeah. If I decide this is what I want to do, I'm not training at that gym to be able to achieve it. Yeah. I can do there's enough there to be able to do what I want to do. Once I go pro, no, it's not enough. Is there enough to make a career out of this in this town? No. Yeah. So it's those little things that will make a change for sure. And when my visa was meant to expire, as I say, I've renewed it. But the plan was January, move back home to England, get in the city, just smash out everything. I know enough contacts there. I know some contacts in Vancouver to get a job in a gym. I could call them tomorrow and be like, hey, I'm coming. They're like, cool, yeah, job done. But it's not what I want to do in terms of other aspects of my life right now. Yeah. So right now I can balance both of them, but I know that if I want to push this bodybuilding, that is what I've got to do. Yeah. In the next couple of months.
You definitely say you've got your head like.
So you got to. 100%. You got to make a plan with anything you're going to do. Yeah. Like there's so many people like, I want to do this. I'm like, oh cool. What are you doing to get there? I don't know. Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? You've got this big thing you want to try and do, but you've not broken it down of how you're going to get there. Yeah. It's definitely a big thing so many people need to work on.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing as well, is what like people don't think about, like they almost see the big thing and they're like, oh, that's too big, I can't believe I'm going to get there. Like you being like, Or like anything like me doing this, it's like just, I remember just being like, just thinking like, what's the next easiest step to get there? I was come up with a name. And then I was like, pay for a website. And then, and then next thing you know, like, again, with like, it translates to everything where like, you've actually done like 100 little steps.
Yeah.
They've actually got you to like a fairly decent point. And you're like, oh, sweet. I actually didn't need to. Because I think that's the same with like the things that, just because the things I've, like the races I've done are kind of long. And you think, like, God, how can I, even now, like with this swim, I'm like, fucking hell, man. Like,
from an outsider perspective who's never done swimming stuff, it's crazy.
Oh, dude, mental, and I think about it every day, how mental that is.
Yeah.
But then, like, exactly what I'm saying is, like, I just don't think about that. I'm like, it's the next training day is tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do that, and then, fast forward 10 months, and I should fucking
get there. Yeah, exactly. That's all you got to do with anything is. Yeah, I knew I wanted to get to around 240. Weight-wise, last year so this time last year, I would have just come out of like kind of recomping myself a little bit, cutting down a bit. I was like 215. So I've chucked on like 25, nearly 30 pounds in a year. Yes, some of that is a lot. Is fat. Some of that is muscle as well. But to be like 240 pounds, I was like, that's big. I've never been that big before. Like, that's a lot of weight to put on.
And that's what you're doing.
So that's what I mean. I'm going to try and put on like 1 or 2 pounds every couple of weeks and just build it up like that.
You know August from the gym?
Hey?
August from the gym, the Filipino guy?
Yeah.
He was telling me, the other day, he was telling me that he's my weight, like 160 something. Yeah. And he wants to go up to 180.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like 15, I think I'm 165, he might be a little bit less.
Yeah.
And he's quite short as well. And he was like, I want to go up to 180. I was like, you're fucking massive.
Yeah.
For like such a little guy.
That's the thing. It's weird when you think of it in that way. You're like, that's a lot of weight. And you're like, if you walk into the meat section in a grocery store and you like pick up like 10 of those and then slap that meat on your body, you're like, that's a lot of meat.
Yeah, that's tons.
So let's say I've put on, like I say, 25 and 30 pounds. Let's say maybe 10 of that is muscle, if I'm lucky, which would be outrageous, especially at this level of training that I've put on that much in a year. Probably haven't. But let's say, 7 pounds of muscle. That's still a lot of meat sitting around on your body.
Yeah.
Like, that's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's still a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if he went, because he's not as, I would assume he wants to put that on in muscle.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess you could probably put 15 pounds on and...
You can...
Not shy.
It depends how long you've been training for.
Yeah, I think he was just like, I don't know how long he's been training, but he was just like, I'm just going to do it till I get there.
Yeah.
So he's got like mass gain or
like definitely the first year of training, you could whack on 20 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
Like easily.
Yeah.
Just the more years you train, the more little bits it is. And then obviously if you start with steroids and tests and stuff like that, they suddenly get those first year gains again.
Yeah.
Because your body's like, whoa, this is new stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. If I hop on it and start doing that stuff, I know I've got another 20 pounds of muscle I can find there. Mm-hmm. If I were to try and do it, which would be pretty crazy. Because I think if I dropped to like 220 now, like 220 pounds, if I lose like 23 pounds of fat, I'm in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in good shape now. I still look half decent. But if I drop 23 pounds of fat, I'd be down into single figures body fat, which at 220 pounds, you look. I would probably look even bigger, if that makes sense.
See, if you did that, you'd need to take your top off in the gym.
Just to do it. Honestly, once I got lean and stuff, like when I was lean before, to do it, mate. I didn't own
I'd
shirts.
be fully behind you. Like,
people would be like, where's your shirt? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't own one. Dude, I feel like that. I'm like 20.
Why would I own a shirt?
I know. Oh, man, I'm ever so cringy. And I did this not even that long ago. Because sometimes I do this, right? Where sometimes I'm like, see if there was no one else here, what would I do? Yeah. And I'm like, I fucking would take my top off. So I remember, which is so vain, but and I was doing, when I was running for the 100 miles, obviously like my mentality as well was like, you're so dialed in.
Yeah.
So you kind of have like this ultra ego confidence.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was doing a sprint session on the treadmill, the one that's upstairs, like the one treadmill that's there. And mate, I was like, my intrusive thought took over, and I was fucking take my top off, and it was sprint on the treadmill, and that was it. But I remember now that my ego's come back down a peg or two, I'm just like,
definitely,
oh my God.
There's definitely a point where you go past that though, especially with bodybuilding side of things. Because I was like lean, I was like, yeah, I don't wear a shirt anywhere, and then I got leaner. I was like, I'm fat. I have to wear a shirt everywhere. I have to and I stayed at like I could say when I went down to 84, 85, stayed like 86, 87 for ages. I was lean, but I felt so fat. I was like, I'm not getting anything out. I was smaller, obviously, but I was still shredded. So I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah, I remember I did that when I was like, I got pictures of me when I was like, I don't know, 18, 19, like lads holiday where like, I was like, for the 2 months before that, I was eating like salad and running every day. And I remember looking at pictures. I remember feeling fat. Not fat, that's a lie. Actually, probably did actually. I remember feeling fat. And then if I look at pictures of me now, dude, I'm like probably the most shredded I've ever been because I was so skinny, but I was doing weights and stuff like that. And now it's mental though to think back.
To look back on it,
I remember looking at myself and being like, but like this little bit. I didn't even think I was in any way fit, and now I'm just like, I'd fucking love to look like that now.
Yeah.
But I felt terrible.
Yeah.
Because I was like, because it was so bro science. It was so like, I'm not even joking when I say I was literally eating like salad for every meal and doing like 10K runs every day.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's what I mean by when you go into a cut and stuff, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Because you're not going you're not doing that, but you're doing extreme things to your body that your body cannot do for full time.
Yeah.
So it's just finding that balance of doing all that stuff, but also trying to keep this okay.
You definitely sound like you've got that. You've got the kind of puzzle.
It's definitely something, like I say, I've done the courses to do it.
Yeah.
But I've also educated myself on it and gone through bad times myself to be like, okay, we don't want to get back to that again. So in order to do that, I've got to do these things. I've got to be conscious of this. And when I go back into a cut or anything like that, it's going to be a lot harder to do that and remember those things at that time. But that's what it is. That's why it's a sport. That's why it's difficult. That's why it's impressive to do those things, because it's hard.
Yeah.
There's not really anything that's hard to do that's impressive.
Yeah.
Or not hard to do that's impressive.
That is really, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
If I'm still in town, I'll definitely
we'll see how it goes when I come to it, but we'll just have to see what happens.
See how it goes. Yeah. Well, look, I appreciate you sitting for quite a while and chatting shit with you.
I like it, man. Like I say, if it's something I'm interested in, I'm going to turn up for.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely impressive the stuff you're doing as well with the swimming and also just starting this.
I appreciate you being like so cool with the kind of last minute location rechange, because I was like, this is going to be it.
Don't bother me, man.
Very cool.
Me. Yeah.
Cheers,
Thank you very much, man.
But yeah, dude, I'm not just saying, I do appreciate you being so cool with doing this.